Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? Damn. Hey, can y'all hear me? I assume you can. Oh, my camera. That didn't really do much, did it? Sounds good. Cool. We'll get going in a second here. We'll give some people time to filter in. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Tom, there is a list of all commands. If you go to the FastPass key tools, Discord bot commands, you got all of them listed right here. Same thing, you got the scans all listed there as well. Yep. All right, we can get going. If you guys have questions, you can just leave a comment. I know there's a lot of discussion in the Discord this weekend. Looked like a lot of good stuff. Jeez. All right, cool. A couple things to note real quick. So we successfully recreated the market trend model in TradingView. You can see it right here. It's just going to be the cumulative tick and the short-term moving average ribbons. So, which is just that portion right there. And you can see, it's pretty much spot on. So we'll be launching that sometime this week, most likely. Yeah, so we have that. Obviously, you have the web app. I did some push and updates there last couple of weeks. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. There's a couple of new commands we've listed or we launched. Right, for people that are not Game Edge members, you can just bear with us for a second. This is a free stream. We're going to cover a couple different things here. We have, it's the spec P and the spec PS commands, right? They're just kind of iterations of the volume command or volume analysis commands. So, Yeah, no, it's not going to be in the web app. It's going to be on TradingView right now. We tried trading. We tried TradingView in our web app, and they wanted like 100 grand literally for us to continue to do that. So obviously a non-starter, and the data flowing through it just wasn't very good. So it was not representative of like the quality of tool we wanted to have out there. So that's why we killed it. So yeah, if anyone is familiar with TradingView or implemented TradingView in third-party apps and whatnot, like please reach out. We are desperate to get the TradingView back in the web app so we can have the cumulative tick like this, have our levels, have all that good stuff integrated in one spot. But right now, I just don't understand something, or it's super expensive. So yeah, if you know of a better way, please email me, DM me, whatever. But yeah, Tom, Thinkers, I think you have Thinkorswim, right? Like, so you got it in there. It's the same thing. So you're not really missing out on anything. All right. So getting back to the market itself, right? Let me reorient myself as well. Sorry, I've been doing things out of the house all weekend. So SPX, kind of flirting with near all-time highs. Had the intraday reversal right around 6,900 on Friday. Yeah, that's about it. Looking at the market trend model, right? Railroad tracks pointing lower, cumulative tick pointing lower. So what that means is in the short term, momentum is sideways to lower. Had some filter tick selling on the session. So something to keep in mind. Like I know I did the pre-market prep on Friday, spent 30 minutes saying how the tools were saying it was bullish, all that good stuff. But that's why it's important to understand and kind of interpret the tools as the day is playing out, right? Like things happen from bell to bell. And so, right, the tool is clearly indicated, right, that A, we failed the key level 6,900. B, we were seeing some filter tick selling come in, railroad track selling. So, right, the whole reason I'm saying that is don't be stubborn, right? And just saying, oh, but he was bullish in the pre-market. Yes, but then we had no knowledge of what was going to happen once the bell rang. People would transact. That's why they play the game. That's why they keep score, So, yeah, and if you miss something, put a question and comment what you missed on Friday or what you think we got wrong. Right? We're not perfect, but the tools here help us course correct, right? If we have an assumption, that's why we have if-then statements, right? Assumptions in the pre-market. If this happens, then do that. If this breaks down, then do that. If this, breaks out, then do that. So, yeah, it's not just a single factor kind of black and white model, right? Like trading is very, very, very dynamic, probably the most dynamic thing in the world. So, but nonetheless, right, the cumulative tick is still above our longer term rainbow ribbon. So that effectively means like on a long term basis, momentum is still higher. Like that's not crazy. Just SPX is kind of near all time highs. But in the short term, certainly is a little bit of weakness. So again, not black and white. Trading in a lot of gray, so navigating that. So what that tells me is right on a swing trading basis, maybe tighten up the time frame, size down your risk a little bit, really just have that quick finger on the eject button, and really, seeing evidence that positions are working before you start putting on more and more and more positions. So that's kind of what I got to say about that. Is that clear to everybody? Are you guys tracking with what I'm saying there? Tracking with the market trend model? All that good stuff. So if you don't think you have if you have a question, I'm sure someone else out there has the question as well. So I want to make sure no one gets left behind here before we move on. I feel like Tom may be the only one watching today, right? He's the only one in the comments. So if you guys are watching, I would appreciate a comment. Just let me know I'm talking about something useful. Just like the markets, I'm not talking about something useful. I need to course correct, right? My if-then statements. If bad comment, then talk about something different. Or we can just sit and stare at each other virtually. It's fine with me. Yeah, Neuro, you maybe just did you just get on Nero? Because we talked about that already. Yeah, so this is the model that we have currently working in TradingView. We're going to release it probably next week sometime. So yes, the cumulative tick, short-term railroad tracks are there. For those watching this or watching the replay, please do not come back and tell us it does not look exactly like the TradeStation model. We know that. We literally have caveats everywhere saying there's a difference in the data availability and look back period. As an example, Thinkorswim has like a 30-day look back period versus TradeStation has like an infinite long look back period. So the long-term moving average is going to look different, but the cumulative tick, the railroad tracks, the filtered tick, all that is going to be more or less the exact same. And, frankly, kind of short-term traders, swing trading time frame, intraday time frame, like that's really what matters. So yes, just understand that. We stream the TradeStation when that's back tested every day in the Discord. So you guys should have kind of all the information that you need there. And even if you just look at the MTM game plan, like that's going to give you an idea of what the long-term moving average movement is doing. That's not going to radically change day over day. So even if you just look at it once a day and then you have the other models to understand what's happening in the short term, like that's going to be very powerful. Yeah, so just going again to Friday, like we post these every week on, or after every market close on the Discord. We'll just go back to these are the new charts, right? The centroids, the SPX centroid percentile, right? That's just simply telling us like, yeah, that's kind of a iteration on our vol M chart, right? Candidly, Paul's going to need to talk more about this probably next open mic, but right, obviously we have the vol M command here, right? Centroid's trending lower all session. So again, kind of marrying that up with the market trend model. Friday, we knew, right, filter tick selling, market trend model trending lower above the railroad tracks. Centroids, right, call. What's very important with the centroid is like the call centroid, and the trend of that is very important on a day-to-day basis. That really gives you a good tell of what's happening, whether that's trending lower, sideways, or higher. Obviously Friday, right, trending lower, sideways to lower throughout the session, right? So if you're stubborn, trying to think that some mythical rally was going to happen, hopefully kind of now in hindsight, you can kind of understand why that was not meant to be, and maybe how these tools can be helpful to you going forward, or maybe not. But we do find them incredibly helpful. Obviously 6,800, again, probably key downside level, ton of speculation there. Downside speculation, probably monetization of positions, all that good stuff. No surprise, 6,900, 6,800 were kind of key pillars in the structure, 100-point range. And yeah, that's kind of all I got to say about that. And yes, I understand this is hindsight, but like, just like all the the NFL teams that play today, they're gonna be watching film tonight and tomorrow. So like, why would we not do the same thing? Because right, pattern recognition, understanding what happened today is going to help us going forward tomorrow. You're gonna have a very hard time if you do not kind of go back and review what happened to tweak your system and improve it going forward. It's just, Jim, one of the most reliable indicators is the 1 hour RSI and SPY. Cautious when it hit 70. That's where it hit Thursday after close. Yeah, so candidly, Jim, we don't pay attention to the RSI at Gamma Edge. That's kind of an instance where our tools are complementary to most people's existing tools. So kind of overlaying what's happening under the hood in the options market with maybe your RSI, you may find something powerful there, but I do not really have a comment on the utility of the 1 hour RSI. Like if it works for you, then that's awesome. I'm not here to tell you that it's bad or it's good. All I can help with is kind of what we do, and hopefully that's a complement to what you're already doing. But I mean, also to your point, Jim, like just kind of thinking out loud, like if the RSI is getting to a super overbought signal, which I assume 70 is, and we're getting towards kind of that upside plus X strike that 6,900 was, that makes a lot of sense, right? Kind of upside speculation level from a, technical indicator point of view, RSI getting a bit stretched makes a lot of sense. The cumulative tick. Yeah, that's perfect, Jim. Yeah, and again, I'm not, saying anything about the RSI, right? That's not my spot to tell you if that's good or bad to use. If you make money for it, if you stand on your head and make money, who cares, right? Or if you I don't even know. It doesn't matter what you do. If you make money with it, that's completely fine. Yeah. So the trend of those green and red Nero, that's probably has to do with like the slope of the cumulative tick. You can see like when it's green, the background's green. If I were to guess, I don't know. I have some questions out to Paul on what these tags mean and the background means, but like just looking at it, like it's kind of obvious what it is. Maybe it has something to do with the moving average ribbons. I'm not sure, but kind of intuitively just looking at it, like obviously green is good if you're a bull, red is bad if you're a bull. So yeah, just kind of keep it as simple as that. If you guys have any questions on individual stocks, let me know. We can get into those. Again, just looking at SPX, right? I mean, pretty big, from a TA kind of price action point of view, like big range right now, kind of 6,900 to 6,800. Looks like we spent the last kind of 2 weeks consolidating in that trading range. From an institutional momentum point of view, like like those moving averages, those people care about, whether you believe in it or not. A lot of people, the market participants, talk about the 21 and 50 moving averages. So like makes sense to just kind of understand where price is trading in relation to those. And even if you don't believe in that stuff, like just visually looking at it, like it's pretty clear that when price is above the 50, the green line, like it tends to move higher. So yeah, I know it's not super sexy, right? I'm talking about options and mechanical strategies and algos and all that stuff, but sometimes Occam's razor, right? Keep it simple. So let's go to SPXP real quick. So yeah, looking at SPXP, obviously keep in mind this is we need to get the overnight updates that are generally published. Yeah, it's probably tag markings. I'm just not familiar with what exactly they mean, Jim. So we'll get some clarification and be sure to get that to you. But again, back to the SPXP, right? Data. We'll get those overnight updates. Those will be updated 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. But anyways, right, this gives us a decent view anyways. Below the transition zone, looking below spot price, a lot of out of the money put speculation, even some in the money put speculation kind of in the belly of the structure. Obviously, way out overhead of us, there's out of the money call speculation, which in a vacuum is good to see. But right, there's a lot of puts that we need to navigate in this area right here that I keep circling. Again, upside 69.50. Again, we added this little green highlight. Something that we're going to be adding. Not sure if you guys are interested in this or not, but the ability to customize colors. So if you're not a fan of the red and the green, then you'll be able to kind of customize that to whatever color preference you want. To the extent you find that helpful, that's something we'll look to implement here in the next couple of weeks. What else? Yeah, so I mean that's really it right now. Transition zone, you see that clearly right here. DEX transition zone, 68.75. 68.45. I don't know where we're trading right now overnight. Overnight, we are 68.36. Cool. So we're still below the transition zone. So yeah, right. Just a simple razor for you guys. Cumulative stick trending lower, railroad tracks trending lower, below the transition zone. Generally not good if you're a bull, right? If you're a bull, you want to be above the transition zone. You want to see the cumulative tick and railroad tracks trending higher. So very simple razor for you. So all that means is, kind of coming into Monday, assuming all else equal, not super interested in putting on kind of swing trades to the upside. We want to see evidence that we're going to get that kind of, move higher. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Anybody? Feels like I'm talking to myself. All right. So anyways, that's SPX. Keep in mind we have OpX this week, third Friday of every month. OpX. Yeah. So, right now not looking too great. Understanding it's call dominated, but don't get wrapped up just in what a single factor is, right? It's multi-factor. We're below the transition zone. We're seeing a lot of put dominated strikes. So not a time to be complacent. Is there any questions that you guys have right now? Getting back to this chart too, right? This is one of the new commands we launched. Yeah, as I said, Paul, if you need to give a bit more detail on this, but what this legend down here means is, C50 means all put 50% of the puts of the call speculation happens from this point below. And then obviously like C10 is this point and below. So just understanding again kind of what the trends of these are doing, and using these lines as spots to kind of understand where price is going to go and not go is extremely helpful as well. No way to look back on the dashboard, correct? Yeah, that's right. I mean, we have the, historical SPX game plans. You can look back on things, but yeah, you can't go like a past date right now. Which I guess, what do you want to do with that? Just so I can understand and maybe implement it. We can go through some single stocks since no one is saying much. Let me download the latest script real quick. TradingView scripts. Oh shit, wrong button. Here, so we go there. No. Dude, they're always changing up how we do this. It's annoying. All right, cool. So we have that in there. NVIDIA. Where'd the chart go? Obviously below the transition zone, all that good stuff. Yeah, NVIDIA, smoked on Friday. Wow. Clear downtrend from kind of a TA point of view. looking at its structure, it's below its transition zones, all that good stuff. Give me a second here. Yeah, weekly chart. I mean, that's pretty nasty, especially if it takes out the low last week, low 2 weeks ago. Obviously going to put the market under pressure as well if that happens. What else have we got? We got Tesla. Yeah, I mean, Tesla looks good, right? It's above its transition zone. Kind of the opposite trend of what we saw in NVIDIA there. Yeah, I mean, looking at the Tesla dashboard, it's above its transition zone, call dominated above the spot price. Yeah, call dominated above the spot price. Yeah, I know. So long as it holds kind of 450, I mean, a lot of speculation up to 500. Looking at the monthly expiration, I mean, looks pretty good too. 460 is plus GEX. So, in kind of short term on a weekly basis, 460 is going to be an important level. See if we can get above 460. And, obviously progress higher from there. So here's Palantir, right? All expirations turn on. 192 is kind of that key level, which is where we're at right now. So not as attractive. And this name just giving kind of where speculation is centered right now. We're more or less at there. Like obviously COI, which is right, start with the most call out open interest. So kind of the most speculation independent of time is at 200. So, perhaps get a little bit of a move up to 200, which I understand that's like a 10% move. So that's kind of more than just a little move, but yeah, so long as we're above 180, which is top of our transition zone, this name still looks pretty good. AMD, right? No surprise, looks a lot like NVIDIA, below its transition zones. Yeah, pretty nasty there. Hood, nasty. Apple. Oh, wrong. GRAAPL. So yeah, some of the point I wanted to call out is like when you look at Apple, right? If you're new to Gamma Edge and you see this, you're gonna be like, wow, it's call dominated, must be good, right? But no, something to understand is like individual equities are generally like always going to be call dominated, right? Like folks are just speculating alongside an individual equity, so you can't just get hung up in that. That's why it's important to understand where it's trading in relation to its transition zone, which right 280 is the key level. It's below there, and then kind of just taking one step deeper, looking at the tools at your disposal, like the GEX ratio as an example. We can see that speculation has been trending lower in the name. It's at like 2.5 right now, which again is above 1, so it's call dominated, but just in relation to the call dominatedness, technical term there, of the stock. speculation is decreasing in the name. So again, we want to see speculation increasing in the name, which is not what we have right now. So again, just wanted to tell you, yes, this in a vacuum, this snapshot looks like it's call dominated, but that's why we kind of just got to take one more look under the hood and why we've developed these tools to help us kind of understand what kind of where in the sine wave we are between call and put dominated, right? In this stock, like how call dominated is the name. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, Jim. I mean, like we have the data spreadsheets. You can probably go back and look to get an idea of positioning where those key strikes are at. But yeah, I don't have anything there. And yeah, I mean, if you're looking to play earnings as an example, that's pretty much a crapshoot in terms of how the stock's going to react on those earnings. I'm sure you probably know that, but just in case I'm saving you the trouble. Amazon, another name that looks pretty brutal here, right? Lower lows, lower highs, below the transition zones, all that good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, most of the Mag 7 components we've looked at right now do not look very good. Google, I mean, this thing's been on a tear lately. Microsoft, I mean, another name that's pretty brutal. Oracle, nasty. AVGO, nasty earnings. Meta, holy crap, is that real? It lost like 10% intraday. That's crazy if that's real. It doesn't look like it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's real. But yeah, anyways, look at that. Kind of rejected right at P-trans, right? That's our key kind of upside acceleration level. Kind of action between N-trans and P-trans. Not crazy to see, right? That's why we call it the transition zone chop range. Uber, from price action point of view, looks brutal. Something else I wanted to bring up really quick. Maybe this is something we can implement in the web app if people have interest in it. If not, we're not going to waste our time developing it. But something I do every morning, right? If you're in the Discord, well, not every morning, but most mornings, I try my best, right? Just depending on time, is something that called a scatter plots. So what this is for call dominated stocks that are right. The key levels we're looking at here are plus X and P trans. So if it's to the left of the y-axis, then it's above P trans. To the right, below P trans. Then above the x-axis means that it's below plus Gex, and below means that it is above plus Gex. So I understand that could be a little confusing, but that is what it is. And so, right, what we're interested in is those names above P-trans but below plus Gex, right? Because that's above our kind of key entry level, which is P-trans, key upside acceleration zone once you get in that call-dominated structure. And then plus Gex is that key upside convex strike, right? With potential for monetization, kind of centering of short-term speculation into the upside. So, right, this is just a helpful way of kind of honing in on what is kind of the nature, the character of stocks populating this. So, we have like Pepsi, we have, I think APOs like Apollo, Starbucks, Zillow, Devon Energy, FedEx. So not the sexiest of names. So that's kind of a tell right there. And then B, where are the good risk to reward names? And by risk to reward, it means they're close to P-trans, but kind of further away from plus Gex. So the higher up on the y-axis means the further they have to go to plus Gex. And the closer on the x-axis means that the closer to P-trans they are. So as an example, Starbucks is like a 6% upside to 1% downside. So very good risk to reward. So kind of your strike zone is like in this area right here, where again, kind of low downside relative to the upside. So that's how you read the scatter plot. We get some questions about that. So hopefully that's helpful. And then again, I post that for, the core stocks, which is these stocks over here, which is, mostly the Mag 7 plus some other, large stocks of other sector components like JPM, Lilly, XOM, Visa, Costco, all that good stuff. And again, we can just get a quick understanding of, where those stocks are. So like a lot of them are not even above P-Trans, or they could be above P-Trans, but not really much of a distance plus GEX, so not super constructive there. And then same thing with the sectors. You can just get a quick visualization of, where are we with the sectors, are most above P-Trans, most below P-Trans, what's the nature of those sectors that are above and below P-Trans, and then is there a lot of kind of upside speculation or not? So again, it's kind of a quick way you can quickly dissect the market. Not only that, but right, there's like thousands of stocks out there you can trade. And so if you can quickly hone in on, 5 to 10 names that may be applicable from an options market point of view, then you want to put your own kind of trading system of how you get in and out of names. That's the benefit of this. Is that helpful? Anybody? And yeah, Kevy, correct. Probably next weekend. Yeah, that was helpful. Cool. Glad it was. And then, yeah, I've created watch lists and stuff out of this too. I don't really post them that often anymore, but again, here's just like stocks above P-Trans. We don't need to get into that right now. And then Jeffrey, to your question on SPX, I'm doing the SPXP GEX ratio right now. So it's a smidge above 1, but we can see the speculation is decreasing, which is interesting, right? Price kind of chopping sideways while the GEX ratio has really been declining, meaning speculation is leaving the complex. So bit of kind of alligator jaws divergence there. So again, that's why I was saying from a swing trading point of view, like GEX ratio is trending lower. We're below peak, we're below transition. We are cumulative tick is not favorable in the short term. So, right, I don't really feel a big need to be, getting massively long right now. If we were to see, tomorrow the cumulative tick starts to turn higher, we getting some filter tick buying in the market, then yeah, maybe I feel more empowered or whatever to think that we could be getting another kind of short-term move higher here. But right now that is not the case. I don't know if that answers your question, if that's what you're looking for. Yeah, Walmart, it looks like a freaking tech stock. They must have implemented some AI, right? Yeah, it's been mooning, so. Yeah, if I were to guess, yeah, structure is not really caught up with the name. And by that, what I mean is, plus GEX is below, COI is below spot price. So that just means structure is not, caught up to the name yet. So certainly has had a parabolic move here. And if you're in the name, awesome. But if you're not in the name, I think it's kind of risky to be getting in it right now. Just because, again, looks a bit extended to the upside. Doesn't mean it can't go higher. But if there was a pullback, even a 7% pullback, that wouldn't be crazy. That would be completely rational in terms of price action. That'd still be a higher low. So it wouldn't be crazy at all. Costco, dude, that's crazy. That literally is the exact opposite price action of Walmart. Clearly, someone has something figured out. I know Walmart just got a new CEO recently. I don't know if that's part of the ramp, the mooning, as they say, but whatever it is, good on them for it. Heck of a pair trade if you got it on. Yeah, what's interesting, look at the difference in the structure, right? Like Costco, nothing but red when we went back to Walmart, here, I'll just duplicate the screen so you can see this. Walmart, green, Costco, red, Walmart, green, Costco, red, Walmart, green, Costco, red. Like very obvious, very visually obvious that, puts are in control of Costco, or like warning signs, not very good. Walmart, obviously a lot better. Obviously, we know Walmart's probably a little extended here, but again, that's the kind of power, at least if you get nothing out of the tools or anything that we do, is, kind of a quick visual of yes, looks good, or no, looks bad. Yeah, exactly. Good pairs trade. I agree, Jeff. Jeff, is it Joffrey? Is it Jeffrey? I feel like I'm saying your name wrong. I feel like it's Joffrey. If I'm saying it wrong, apologies. If you put the syntax of how you sound it out, I'll nail it from now on. $870, yeah, sure, it's held, Ali, but like, I don't know. I'd rather, if you're desperate to get long a name, like there's plenty of names that are in uptrends right now, not needing to, try and be a hero and catch a bottom in Costco. Wait for it to make, a series of higher highs, higher lows, and then get in the name. But, you don't get a medal for being the first one in the name. So it's kind of, but, to the extent you want to, then go for it. Square is crazy. I don't get why block is not better than it is. It seems like they had so much going for it and kind of messed it up. Lily, TSM, obviously MSTR is just a train wreck. BTC USD. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. Does anyone know the level where they really start to get in trouble? Because I know they're levered up, right? So didn't know if there's a level where they either have to start liquidating stuff or what happens, but can't imagine feeling very good going to the holidays right now. Oh. So yeah, that's kind of what I got right now. I realized I didn't give you a ton of, hey, look at these stocks tomorrow. But that's just because there's not a lot I see from the kind of big components right now, unfortunately. So, sometimes there's good times to trade, other times there's not so good times to trade. So, Tesla was a name, looks pretty good here. All right, but that's kind of all I got. So I don't see there's many other questions or whatnot. So we can call it there. A couple of things, right, to end it. If you're not a member of Gamma Edge, what we talk about today may be confusing, or you're just new to it, don't know how it could be helpful, anything like that. If you go to GammaEdge.us, go to free courses, Gamma Edge Fast Pass. This is literally our entire education portal that gets emailed to you. You have access to it. It's articles on all of our tools, all of our trading strategies, methodologies, kind of, why we think Gamma Edge matters, why the options market matters, all that good stuff. So you can download that for free. It's going to take a little bit of work to get through it. This is not a quick win room by any means. It takes a little bit of effort, but, as hundreds of traders in the room can attest to, it's very worth your while to learn it because, just given modern market structure, if your car is making a weird noise, you wouldn't just say, I'm making a weird noise. No, you'd probably open up the hood, take it to the shop, see what's happening there. So it's kind of the same thought process with, options markets today. You don't have to trade options, but just understanding kind of what positioning is like in the options market. Because remember, options are inherently forward looking. So we can get an understanding of how folks are positioning, and that positioning is changing over time. And you can really keep it at that high level if you want to. Obviously, you can get very into the weeds and nuance with all the Greeks on an intraday basis if you want to, which we do that too. But we also, can keep a high level and just understanding, okay, in general, kind of what's the market thinking here. So with that, I appreciate the time tonight, and we'll see you all bright and early in the morning. Thank you.